How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and just because you can't buy a device here in the US doesn't mean that we shouldn't do a review for those international phone doggers and for those people that are going to buy it unlocked. Here it is, the HTC Sensation XE. Now this device is a lot like the T-Mobile HTC Sensation 4G, but it adds a couple of things. One, a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz processor, which the Sensation had, but this one is running at 1.5, a full 1.5 gigahertz and not downclocked. You have Beats audio on this bad boy, and then you have that same 4.3-inch display, 8 megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, and more. Android 2.3 on this sucker with HTC Sense version 3.0. Is it worth getting this device overseas or perhaps purchasing it if it's local to your market? We'll find out that and more in the full review, but first, gotta give some love to my boys at Best Buy for hooking us up with high-end smartphones just like this for use during One Paw Bandit game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, all that stuff. So whether you get a device like the Sensation 4G on T-Mobile, the Sprint Evo 3D, or something like that, they'll help you walk out working at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look at this in the review. HTC Sensation XE. Is this the one to get? Should you buy it unlocked? Maybe buy it in your local market, or should you go with the Sensation 4G or something else on one of the carriers? We'll find out starting right now. Here's the HTC Sensation XE. Now this device isn't available in the United States right now, and it's probably not coming, at least with the Sensation XE name. It's available in parts of Europe and available unlocked through some select retailers online. But if you look at this and you're thinking this looks a lot like a device that was released in the US, well, that's because it was. It's the HTC Sensation 4G with a few minor changes to make it a little bit bigger and a little bit better, and to be able to be released as a different name. So Sensation 4G, the differences from this device and the Sensation on T-Mobile, obviously the color scheme. You can see it has this dark gray and red color scheme here. You got the kind of red color scheme here at the earpiece, Beats audio on the back, which is another improvement. You got the red back here. You got this kind of darker gray look, typical HTC bar that goes across like the Sensation 4G, and overall very similar design. You've still got your micro USB charging port on the left side, your volume rocker on the left side, nothing over here on the right side. Your 3.5mm headphone jack, power button up top, and then you've got your capacitive buttons, but again, you can see it's that red color hue. So a little bit of a difference there. Now, the big differences come in a couple of places. One, Beats audio pre-installed, and two, a bigger battery. It has a 1,730 milliamp hour battery as opposed to the 1,520 milliamp hour battery that comes on the Sensation 4G. Also, while it may have the same processor, the Sensation 4G was supposedly underclocked to 1.2 gigahertz. This one's running at a full 1.5 gigahertz. It's a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon processor. Other than that, pretty similar. The same 4.3-inch QHD display, front-facing camera, 8 megapixel camera on the back with dual LED flash, and 1080p HD video recording. So you've got some similar specs here. And again, if you like those Beats audio, this does come with Beats earphones out of the box or earbuds out of the box, which is a nice little touch. They're the little iBeats headphones, which I believe retail for around $100. So it's taking advantage of that Beats partnership, and actually I believe it's the first device to be a part of the Beats partnership, and it's my hope that we see that in the US sometime soon with some device launches. Now it's rumored that the HTC Resound is coming out this week, and I believe that's a Beats device, if I recall, so be on the lookout for that. This Thursday, I'll be in New York for that event. But HTC Sensation XE, it's pretty nice, and obviously this is a carrier unlocked device that HTC was kind enough to send over, so special thanks to them for hooking us up with a unit. And you can see out of the box, you're not going to get any carrier installed bloatware here. You got your typical Adobe Reader, Facebook, couple of things that come pre-installed out of the box, HTC Hub and HTC Likes, which is really nice because you get into the personalization menu, and if you've watched any of my HTC reviews lately, you know about how much I like the personalization menu. HTC's kind of reworked this, and especially with the latest version of their user interface, Sense 3.0, you can see here, I'll close it and turn it back on, and you can see immediately new lock screen here with the ability to pull the ring up, or you can pull it to one of these, or pull one of the apps down to the ring. Let's say I wanted to access camera, I can do that, and when I let go, it'll open up camera for me. So if I use phone, Gmail, camera, and messages, let's say, I can put all of those down here at the bottom and have quick access to those. And you can also customize stuff up here as well. So you can add the weather, you can add friend stream, you can add photos and more. So it's nice that they give you that option to personalize your lock screen, your wallpaper, your ringtones, and more. So you can see wallpaper here set by default. I had it set that way to conserve battery because honestly, the active lock screens do take up battery pretty quickly. But you can see photo album here. You got friend stream, you got your weather, stocks, and clocks. So I can bring up weather, for example. I can apply that. And then when I turn it off and back on, it brings up my local weather, which is a really nice touch. Again, nice to have that option if you want to deal with it in spite of the battery woes. You can certainly do so. So you got that, but you got some personalization options back to what I was saying with the skin, the wallpaper, and the ringtones. And HTC Hub is part of HTCSense.com, which gives you the ability to download additional wallpapers, additional ringtones, additional themes, and they're all free. So you can go on there to Hub, register for an account, take care of it, download some ringtones, download some wallpapers and more, and you'll be good to go. And then you have your other Google stuff, locations, maps, market, etc. Polaris Office, Reader. You've got SoundHound pre-installed on this. And then you've got some stuff I've installed like Twitter Speed Test and Quadrant Standard. And you have this typical menu structure that you know from HTC Sense 3.0 where you can scroll over and see frequently used apps. You can see downloaded apps. And then up here at the top, you've got your notifications bar where you can see your recently opened applications, your notifications here. And then you have the ability to go over here to quick settings and quickly turn on Wi-Fi, the hotspot, turn on or off the mobile network and put it in airplane mode, Bluetooth, GPS, all settings. And then you have your task manager built in right here. So I can go into total memory and see what's running. I can go in here and say kill all those applications. I can refresh and it shows me how much memory I have available. So this is particularly nice for those people that are looking at Android Advanced Task Killer and some of these third-party Android market task killers and saying these aren't really great for your device. Well, here's one that's built in from HTC, which is a really nice touch. But otherwise, 7 home screens on this bad boy. Typical look for most HTC devices, although you notice if you're coming from a Thunderbolt or something with Sense 2.0 or one of the older versions, you can see that the carousel effect here a little bit different. And you can see when I scroll it really quickly, it'll scroll around in a carousel-like format. See if I can get it to go for you here. There we go. So you can see carousel-like formats. It's kind of got this three-dimensional look to it, and with some of the widgets being slightly different, you can see the full-body weather widgets a little bit different. Things like that. So it's definitely cold outside, 60 degrees. That's pretty chilly. And it's supposed to get colder tonight anyway. So you've got those 7 home screens. You have the typical HTC widgets that you're probably familiar with if you watch or prefer HTC over some of the other Android devices. But we'll go into widgets and take a look because I kind of like how they group together HTC and Android widgets. So you've got HTC here. You got your calendar, for example, and you can see HTC and you can see Android, both listed there. So if you wanted the Android calendar widget, you click right there. If you wanted the HTC calendar widget, you click here. Now this is a benefit. HTC's widgets are absolutely beautiful. So you can see here you get 3 options. I get an agenda one, I get a small version there, and then I get this full month view as well. So I can pick and choose whichever one it is that I want, and I can select it and I'm good to go. So let's say I want the agenda one, well I can select it, but obviously I'm going here and you can see it throws it out on whatever space is available. Now what I don't like about HTC's widgets is while they are beautiful, most of them are pretty large. You can see this agenda one takes up the entire screen and you'll have the option to customize, whereas with Motorola's UI and with HTC's TouchWiz, or Samsung's TouchWiz, sorry, version 4.0, you do have the option to customize the widget. So I can make this smaller, can make it larger, could make it more rectangular, or make it a different shape. So for places like this where there's only a little bit of space left for a widget, I could probably fit something in there. So, kudos to HTC for making a beautiful widget and making beautiful icons, things like that. But also kind of a con that you can't customize the sizes to really fit something in there and kind of maximize those 7 home screens. Let's take a look at messages as well so you can see the keyboard. Now this only comes with 1 keyboard, but it's kind of 2 keyboards in one. So we'll say the Quick Brown Fox. What are we going to make the Quick Brown Fox do? Quick Brown Fox jumped into the jar of peanut butter. He's a really small fox. Butter. Quick Fox jumped into the jar of peanut butter. Now the benefit, and I think I still have it turned on. So you're typing along like a normal, normal typing. You're like, I kind of want to switch to swipe. Well, swipe isn't pre-installed, but HTC's trace input is. So I can say, hey there, how are you? And then I want to go back to regular typing. I can easily do it. I can move back and forth between the two. So pretty quick, pretty easy to do that. And I like the fact that both of those are pre-installed on the same keyboard. Now you can turn that off in the settings if you want to, if that's something you're not going to use. And also, because this has a 4.3-inch QHD display, not only is it vibrant, full of color, but it's a nice looking display. So if somebody's coming from a BlackBerry or a physical keyboard, this is their first all-touch smartphone, it's probably going to be easy to get used to because in landscape mode, even somebody with large thumbs like myself, it's pretty easy to type on. You can see the screen real estate's pretty decent there. And even in portrait mode, the way these keys are spaced is pretty impressive. HTC is one of the best on-screen QWERTYs on the market. My personal favorite is Motorola's multi-touch UI, but this one is a close second. And again, when you're in landscape, it's pretty quick and pretty easy to type on. Let's do a browser test as well so you can see PhoneDog.com load up on T-Mobile's network in the Charlotte metro area. PhoneDog.com. Oh, it's Halloween. I totally forgot about that. Need to go hand out candy to the kids at the house. Let's see here. And it's loading up now. And you can see, not even fully loaded, but pinch to zoom is pretty relatively quick here. We'll wait for it to fully load so we can get an accurate look. But again, going from portrait to landscape, pretty quick. You can see a dual-core processor. And also, kind of a side note, if you remember when I reviewed the Evo 3D and the Sensation 4G, both of which are running 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processors, or processors clocked at 1.2 gigahertz. I kind of made reference to the fact, I saw some lag here and there, kind of a little stuttery and slow at times. I'm not really seeing it with this one. I feel like that 1.5 really made the difference between, being fast enough in day-to-day performance where you don't notice it, and like the 1.2 where there was the occasional stutter. So you can see relatively quick there with little to no lag. Pinch to zoom looks good, and I can easily transition between portrait and landscape. Now if I want to, I'm reading the Siri article by Taylor, and I go over here to Windows, it shows me where I left off, so I know I was either reading one of Sydney's or one of Taylor's articles, and so I can go over here, and I can go right back and go back to Sydney's article, and then click on it, and be good to go from there. Then I can proof it and yell at them if there are spelling errors. No, I'm just kidding. They're good guys. But you can see, pretty quick, pretty easy. The preview function is very nice as well.